What's up, everybody? How you doing? I'm gonna start the day off by prepping out some 9.5 tubes here real quick. Then we're gonna break them down onto some 22mm borosilicate glass. Just a second. So the first thing I want to do is open up these little 9.5 tubes that are closed. Like this. Flare them open just a little bit. Just like that. What's up, Aaron? How you doing, man? Aaron in the chat. And I grab my long tube like that, and I stick that in right on this one. Good afternoon, gentlemen. What's up, Kelly? Kelly in the chats. Then I'll paddle this closed like this with my graphite paddle. So it's about the same size as the tube I flared out in my other hand there. Like that. And then I stick them together. Weld them there. Kind of push my hands together a little bit. And then I pull it out of the flame and I stretch it down just a little bit. Just a skibbity scooch. Until it firms up. Again, that's a 22mm tube I'm working with here. Heavy wall borosilicate glass. So I'm going to make a spoon out of this. So I'm going to pull off just enough to make a spoon. I can either constrict this down or stretch it out, depending on what I want to do. I think I'm just going to stretch this one out. Check it out. This is how you pull a point. It's not as strong as this, but it still works. It still works. It's a beautiful day in Alaska. Thanks for stopping by today. Beautiful day in Alaska. All right, check it out. So we get it just warming up, and then we pull it out of the flame and we stretch it like this. Nice and slow. Yeah. Until it's hard. Get hard. And then I make sure it's straight, and I burn it off right there. Straighten out the tip. There we go. So there's my prepped out piece of tubing ready to turn it into a pipe. And I stick it in the camera. So that end is sealed. So I'll take these nippers here. Look at that. I got these tile cutters. And I just chop off the end, and then I flame polish that opening and go right down to the next section. So this is a quick way to make some points. Points. I usually skip this part before I broadcast, but I figured I'd show you guys the process today. This is kind of boring. Well, let's do another one or two real quick. This is how you pull points. Got to keep your hands straight, stretch. Let it set up. And then burn it off. Just like that. So there's my finish point. And I just kind of go down the whole tube doing that until it's totally chopped into pieces. Still no music on the show, but that's okay. I'd rather just talk to myself. Bonjour. What's up? Thanks for stopping by today. How you doing? How you doing? Alright, check it out one more time. Heat and stretch. Nice and slow, not too thin. I like that you're explaining the process and procedures. Thank you. This way you can do it too. If you go back and look at my YouTube channel, I kind of explain how to do all sorts of things on there, like goblets, ashtrays, pipes. I think I even showed people how to make bombs once or twice. There we go, second setup there. Chop it off. And then usually the last little bit of tube, I only got like a small section, so I get real close to my fingers here. Real close to the fingers. I don't want to cook them, but see how close my hands are. Really close to the flame there. And that leaves us with one tiny point. I don't know what I'll do with that. Something fun, I guess. Something fun. Alright, there we go. Burn that off. And then we're going to jump right into making something. Alright, so there you go. I broke down the tube. Now I got 3 pieces ready to turn into pipes. Alright, so this one's already hot. We're going to pull that out of the kiln and start working on this right away. We're going to wipe off the kiln dust with this rag I got here. Get all the dust off. We don't want any dust on the glass. That's not the vibes. Take a moment to show you this epic cup I made. Look at that. Fancy. I haven't made a cup in a while. It's been a long time since I made a goblet. Those are fun. I like making goblets. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is take this tube and totally coat it in some color. I'm going to grab a 7mm borosilicate handle here and weld it right onto the tip of the glass. I just do that right in the center of the flame. Pull it out, let it set up, give it a little stretch. Yeah, the goblets I make are pretty large. You probably fill a whole bottle of whatever you want to put in there. Then I switch hands and I start to heat it up right past that point where I put it together. Start coating the tube in color. I'm using the color Rust today. Should make a nice dark red. What's up, y'all? Thanks for stopping by. I had a shop ask me for a bunch of bongs yesterday. I don't have any bongs, so I might have to make some more here pretty quick. Raise your hand if you got one of my bongs out there. Anybody? Use your hand if you got a ball. Like the live. Thank you. Alright, so I just heat up each little section as I gather the color, go all the way down to this handle. And we almost there. And it's really important you don't melt off your handle. That'll kind of slow up your day a little bit. So that's why it's a little sketchier using these pull points than sticking a 9.5 handle on there, but that's alright. I've practiced enough. I kind of know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Alright, so there we go. It's totally coated in color. Now we're going to start to shape it. So I'll heat up this stem section and just give it a stretch in the flame. And that'll melt all that color in at the same time. Just like that. So it's kind of like pulling a point on the stem. You just stretch it a little bit. Then I'll go down to the mouthpiece and heat that in a skosh. Just basically follow the same kind of set of steps. Alright, so that's smooth. That's the trick, get it smooth. And then I'll go up to the bowl section, that top piece, and start gathering all that glass together. Should be a nice, beautiful red. Anybody like red? I only got like a jar or two of this stuff, so we're going to use it up and see what kind of colors I get. We're trying to make these all completely different than the last batch of glass I made. So I'm heating this up and pushing my hands together a little bit. So you can see that little ball there. Alright, when it's all melted in, I'll pull it out of the flame, let it set up for a second, let it kind of form a skin, and then I'll blow it. And that's how you form the bubble for the bowl. Yeah. Then I'll burn off my handle. This is just one way to do it. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but this is how I do it. Thanks for stopping by today, folks. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Alright, so there's my tip, and I'm going to melt that back in. I'm going to put a little more color there. starts to slowly melt back into the top of the bowl. You want even heat here. And I'm keeping my hand nice and level. Steam roller, almost. It is almost like how I make the steam roller. That steam roller came out really nice, actually. I made 2 of those last time I was doing a show. Those aren't very common for me. I haven't made that many of them, but they look really cool. Put a snorkel on the end of the pipe. Now you can see it's melted back into the bowl shape. So then I'll heat up the whole piece of glass there on the end and puff some more air into it to get it a little rounder. No, this isn't going to be a steamer. This is just going to be a spoon. Alright, so you can see it's all melted in. There we go. And there's my shape. Nice spoon shape. I'm going to cool it off a little bit with this hand torch, just blowing some air on it. Then I'm going to pop a hole and push a bowl. It's all good, Kelly. No stress, baby. Get well soon. I remember that steam roller I made that week. That was really cool. I actually did sell that one. Alright, now I'm going to push the bowl by heating up around the hole, nice and even, making sure it doesn't shrink too much. Alright. See the bowl push, just like that. And then I smooth out the push, so I get rid of any lines that were created from pushing the bowl. I'll take my hand torch and just kind of rub it around the inside like this. And that helps thicken up your bowls a little bit. Makes them stronger. So look nicer. You can see how smooth it looks on the inside. Much better. Alright, now I'm going to decorate it a little bit. See what I can do here. I'm just freestyling this to see what happens. Give it a little bit of flavor. Yeah. There we go, I like it. Alright, what else? Trying to make them all pretty much totally different from each other. Let's try something different. It's a big horseshoe file I got in my hand here. I got it at a farmer's garage sale for like $1. For $1. And that's a pretty cool tool. Look at that. So it has 2 different textures into the glass. One really coarse, one really fine. Yeah, that's cool. I like it. What's up, everybody? Thanks for stopping by. I'm Jeremiah. Been blowing glass since 1999. Just demonstrating some of the techniques I use to make pipes today. For those of you that might be interested in that. I'm using a 12mm rod here to gather up a little bit of glass and color here. Kind of spin in my hand. How hot is that? Oh, I don't know. 500 degrees, 3,000 degrees, somewhere there. It's hot. You're a very talented glass blower, Jeremiah. Thank you, Kelly. So then I heat the whole mass of glass up until it's about the same color. Then I take my little musher there. And mush it right onto the end of the bowl. And then heat up around my smush. Now you can see that textured pattern in the glass. So you can feel it on your hands. It's really cool. It's really cool, trust me. Now I'm going to put a carburetor on it. It's all about the carburetor. Add a little red there too. And I put just enough glass there to make a carburetor. It's not too big. I don't like just popping holes in the side of my bowls. I think that looks kind of lame. So I take the extra time to do this. And make sure your thumb is kind of away from the bowl a little bit. So I want to heat up the glass, not the side of the bowl, else it will collapse. And look kind of ugly, so you got to be careful doing this step right here. Then I kind of open up that carburetor hole just a little bit with this tool here. So it looks lovely. See the carburetor now. Just the right size. Then I flatten the bottom. Just grab my paddle. And then I bring it over to my bench and just push it down onto the graphite. And then I smooth that out. Oh, there you go. Now you can see the bottom. It's smoothed out. It's flat. Alright, now I'm going to warm up my grabbers here and take the point off of the mouthpiece. Just like this. This one looks nice. I think I like it. I think I like it. So then I just pull the glass away until it pops a hole right there. And just do that in the flame. Just like that. Flatten it a little bit. I need a husband from Ghana. That's funny. Well, I'm in Alaska, so tough to not Ghana. I'm broadcasting live from Alaska today. Alright, and then there is the finished mouthpiece. Just the right size. And there's the finished pipe. You can see all the texture on the end of those marbles I put there. Just big enough to fit in your hand. Thanks for watching. Now I'm going to grab another piece of glass and make another one. Again, I'm going to wipe off all the kiln dust. You can kind of see that white dust on there. I don't want that on my glass. I'll wipe that off the rag. Welcome to the show. Again, the first thing I do is put a handle on it. Get a handle on your glass. Follow the creator. Oh, thank you. We'll get up to 1 million one of these days. No stress. And once it sets up, I start heating it up and adding color like this. I've been doing 2 of each color lately. I don't want to have a whole case of stuff that looks the same. And that's what happens when you start to run out of glass. You start making everything with what you got left. So it's good to always be getting more. You know? I'm heating it up and rolling it in the colored glass now. Like this. And we're almost there. Almost. We're going right to the end. Like I said, it's a little trickier when you're just pulling points like this, but after enough practice, it's pretty simple. It just takes practice. Takes a little practice, baby. This is a nice dark red color I'm working with today. It's called Rust. And we got 600 people watching on the TikTok there today. What's up, TikTok? And we got 1 on the YouTube. Yeah, we're broadcasting on 2 platforms today, or 2 devices. Broadcasting on YouTube, we're broadcasting on TikTok. We're reaching 1 person today on YouTube. That's crazy. Alright, there we go. So that's the finished prepped out tube. Now I'm going to start to shape it into something. This is how I do it. This is how we do it. Trying to make them all different, all cool. Should be good. I think I'm going to give this one a nice stretch. Huh? Then I'm going to work on the mouthpiece. My daughter and grandkids just showed, so I'm going to have to say goodbye. Until next time. Well, thanks for stopping by, Kevin. You the man. There goes the one person that was watching me on YouTube. Now it's nothing. That's funny. Get the mouthpiece nice and even. Just like that. Keep it straight. Now I'm going to put a constriction right in the center. This is called the Maria. And I'm going to kind of push my hands together as I do this. Like that. Then I'm going to go down to the end and start to gather a bowl. I don't want to stick the very end into the fire too quickly, else it has a tendency to crack. So I'll kind of start up right at the base of the bowl space there and start putting as much heat into it as I can. And let the heat kind of gradiate from that section down to the very tip to prevent it from cracking. This one's looking lovely. I like it. It's looking lovely. And make sure you don't melt off your handle while you're holding on to it. Those get tricky. It's tricky, baby. That, and then I melt it off. just focusing the heat right on the handle. Roll it in a little bit more color, set that aside. I'm always kind of rounding that out on the bench too. Alright, so we're going to get rid of this. I'm going to gather that tip back into the main bowl. I mean, I could leave that there. Sometimes it's cool, but most of the time I want to melt that back in. What up, home skillet? What up, man? Thanks for stopping by today. We teach them a little how to blow glass today. This is how you make a spoon. All you need is a torch and a good ventilation system. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. You're on your way. You're on your way. I'm using this marble mold to kind of shape the bowl a little bit. Alright, once it's all melted in, I'm going to take it out and give it one last puff of air to even out that bowl. I let it cool off for just a second, then I blow some in. Just like that. So now you can see my shape. Alright, again, we're going to cool off the bowl part like this. You can see all the layers of red on this one. Rust is a pretty cool color. I like it. Alright, now I'm going to focus a tight flame right on the bowl area where I want the hole to go. You don't want to go too far towards the front, else your bowl will push weird. So I'll pop a little hole and then puff some air in there to expand it a little bit. And if it's too small, I'll use this flaring tool here. Kind of give it a little flare. Cool it off with my graphite pencil to make sure it's hard. You don't want it floppy when you push the bowl, else your bowl will push all weird. Then I'll start to heat up around the hole like this. This is how. And I smooth out the bowl push. Being really careful not to stick my hands in the fire. I don't know about all that. So I just kind of rotate it around the inside of the bowl, and then I focus heat right in the center of the bowl hole. Just shrink it up a little bit sometimes. This one's a little big. I'm going to give it an extra smidge of heat there to shrink it down. So it's perfect. Now you can see the bowl hole. Some of you can see that. Now I'm just picking up a random color here. Let's see what we can do with it. This is like some silver fume cane, which looks cool. I like it. It's looking lovely. That. You can see the color in that, which looks cool. Melt those marbles in real good. Got like 800 people watching us on TikTok today. Thanks, TikTok. Throw a couple marbles on this one. Like that. I hit it with the big flame now and add, I think I'm gonna put a cool ass marble right here. Let's gather this up. Gotta make sure it's sealed onto the side of the stem real good. I don't want any lines in there. One last little round out polish. little puff of air to keep it away from the stem. And you can see that cool little marble I stuck on the side. That's looking lovely. It's looking lovely. Now I think I'm going to push a little AK in the end of the bowl just for the fun of it. Use up the last of that little bit of color there. Interested in contacting creator. Oh, that's nice. Got a website. Send me a message if you want to contact me. I'm going to take this stamp here and push an AK right into the end of the bowl. That's looking lovely. Alright, now we're going to add a carburetor. Let's do that. We use this 7mm rod here. This one's looking really cool. I like it. What color should I use next? Any ideas? No comments. Well, we don't know. I'm all out of spoons, so I'm making a couple spoons today. Don't have any spoons. We sold out. Thank you, Vincent. Vincent with the follow. We're in the carburetor now. It's a slow process. You want to make sure you heat up that ball of glass super white hot. This is definitely an extra step. Most people probably don't do this. Just because it takes so long. But I do. Alright, now you can see I'll pop the hole right to the side. Now I'm going to heat up the bottom and flatten it. Alright, see it? Now it's flat. Now I'm going to take the handle off right here. I warm it up a little bit first so I don't crack the mouthpiece. See how it's up. And then just melt that off. And then pull the glass away until it pops a hole there. I'm just kind of going back and forth. And burning it off in the front. Just follow me. Thank you. 436. Thank you, McWeezy. There's the finished pipe. Thanks for watching. Check that out. Alright, carburetor, marbles, mouthpiece. All the holes are about the same size, except for the bow hole, which is just the right size. What do you think? Pretty cool, huh? Alright, so now I'm going to dump this color out and get a new color. Try not to breathe while you're doing this. How about that one? Cobalt blue. Anybody like the color blue? Anybody? Okay. I'm going to grab a fresh point now, starting with this tube here. Been an hour on YouTube and no one is watching on YouTube. What happened to YouTube? We got 560 on TikTok. What's up, TikTok? I'm crushing it on TikTok today. Crushing it. Reached 500 out of a billion. Pretty low numbers, folks. Pretty low numbers. Again, I'm going to start coating the color from the top all the way to the bottom. This time I'm using the color Cobalt Blue. One of the cheaper colors. It's more affordable anyway. It doesn't cost $100 a pound just yet. But the rest of them do. I paid $100 for a pound of purple. Purple Frit, $100. 1 pound. Crazy. Crazy. Michael, follow the creator. Thank you. Can't pronounce that, but thank you. Alright, almost down to the bottom, then we're going to stretch it out and shape it. Using the color blue over here today. There we go. You can see it's totally coated. Now I'm going to shape it. Now we're going to shape it. Oh, it's going to be so lovely. It's going to be so lovely. I'm going to keep this one nice and thick. I don't want to get the stem too thin. I don't want it too skinny. It's nice and thick. So we're not really stretching this at all. We're just heating it up and paddling it against the marbling pad behind me there. Alright, there's my stem. Barely stretched it, just a skosh. So it's nice and thick. Now I'm going to just put the bowl right there. This one's going to be sick. Kisses. Thank you. Kisses. So now I'm doing the bowl part. This is how we do that. Making sure I don't heat up my handle there, holding it all together. You can do this without having a handle on the end, but it's a little more tricky. And then I burn off my handle once I got that bullshit. Right off the handle. Like that. Then I melt that tip back into the bowl. Just like that. I like that shape, that looks pretty cool. Should fit in your pocket nicely. Now I'm going to pop a hole right here. I'm going to push a bowl into it. Slide there. Then I heat up around the hole. There's the hole I popped. And now I'm going to push a bowl into it. This is how I do it. I warm my tool up just a little bit. Heat up around that hole nice and even. Don't want to shrink it up too much. So it won't have no good airflow, you know. Down. Round. Just like this, keeping that tool nice and warm. Then we take it over to the bench and we push into the hole. Fill that hole up. There we go. A nice even heat there. Take my graphite pencil and kind of straighten out the bowl hole, make sure it's right in the center. And I'll grab my hand torch and run it around the inside of the bowl to smooth out the bowl push. You want a nice, smooth bowl in there. This helps thicken up your bowl, prevents it from popping out if you stick some metal in there. Always use a toothpick to clean out your bowls, folks. A toothpick is the best. Alright, what are we going to do now? Now I'm going to decorate. Let's see what I can do. Thanks for stopping by today, folks. Demonstrating some glass blowing techniques on the show today. How to make hand pipes. flavor. Let's flavor. Thousand people watching on TikTok today. Thanks, TikTok. And we got 0 on YouTube. What happened to YouTube? It was so lively. Now it's just toast. I think I played the radio too many times. Cut me off, bruh. I think so. They're like, man, this dude's too lively. Shut it down. That's okay. At least I got y'all. Feeling the love. Thanks. Add a little bit of flavor here. Get that big old ball of glass on the side and then melt it in real good. And then when it's all about the same color, I'll bring it over, push it here, and then stick this tool right into the glass. Just like that. Kind of see big suction cups I'm sticking on the side of this, just to make it kind of cooler, you know. You don't want your pipe to be boring. It's gotta be cool. Nobody wants a boring pipe. I'm trying to make them all different this week. Make them flavorful. Yeah, just like that. DJ Peppers. What's up, DJ Peppers? Again, we're going to heat up all that glass, then we're going to push into it with this tool. Got 1,000 people watching on TikTok. What is up, TikTok? How you doing? Welcome to the show. We're broadcasting live from Alaska today. Broadcasting live. Alright, now you can see these big old suction cups I stuck on there. The numbers are dropping like flies, but that's alright, you're still good. Now we're going to throw some Alaskan flavor onto this one. I think I'm going to stick the state of Alaska on the end of this. Let's see if I can do it. They're like, how are you going to put Alaska on there, Jeremiah? Well, I got this special tool, bruh. Special tool, bruh. Yeah, a big old blob of glass here. Big old blob of glass. I want like a 1-inch ball on the end of this. Yeah, that's about good. Then we're going to twist it off in the flame like that. Okay, where's my magical tool? Here we go. Alright, check this out. Now I'm going to heat this ball up real good. There's my picture I'm going to shove into the side of the glass. You got to be kind of careful with this technique so you don't push it right into the side of your bowl. So you got to keep all the heat right on the tip of the glass. And then just below it. It's definitely tricky. But after enough practice, you kind of figure it out. All right, here we go. Oh shit. You see it? It's the state of Alaska. I stuck it right on the end of the pipe. Fucking A. How do you do that? I just showed you how. It's kind of cool. I think I like it. Randall. What's up, Randall? Welcome to the show. You're the first person to join me on YouTube all morning. Alright, now I'm going to throw a carburetor on here. Carburetor. Just the right side. Not too big. Lazy. Thank you. Blue's a pretty cool color. Anybody own a blue pipe out there? What about y'all? I don't have any blue pipes myself. Getting it nice and hot. This is the carburetor right here, folks. This pipe's got the state of Alaska and 3 really cool suction cups on the stem. I think I like it. It's definitely the vibes. Vibes. That's my oxygen generator kicking on. Y'all wondering what the hell that noise is. Now fried chicken turned out for barbecue. Yeah, the carburetors take the longest amount of time here. Especially when you get a little blue in there. Makes it that much harder to heat up. Alright, now we're going to flatten the bottom and see if we can get it in the kiln without blowing it up. Gotta love that cobalt blue. Yeah. Can I pay anybody's rent? DM. Oh, what a nice photo. We got people offering to pay other people's rent on the show today. Fun. take the mouthpiece handle off like this. Okay, I'm waiting for 2 people on YouTube now. What is up YouTube? 2. It's funny. I didn't. There's the finished pipe. Thanks for watching. Check that out. Blue. See that Alaska shield on the end there? Came out hella sick, I think. Here we go, we're going to start over with this now, especially. Thanks for tuning in today, folks. Hope you're having a wonderful day out there. I am. I'm having a wonderful day. Don't get me down. Nope. Gracias. Randall says beautiful. Thank you, Randall. Thank you. I'm gonna add some color over the blue, different contrast. Alright, so there we go, we got blue. And I like the color yellow, so I'm gonna put some yellow over the top of that. This is my dad's favorite color. Coming up on his birthday soon. August 4th. Happy birthday. Melt that mouthpiece in real good. It's tricky. stem, nice and smooth. So we got blue and yellow. That looks nice. It looks lovely. Now I'm going to do the bowl. Then I'm going to do the bowl. Key found. Blue and yellow. Now I'm melting that tip in so it gets nice and smooth. This definitely looks fun. I like it. Alright, now you can see the color. That looks cool. What do you guys think? Looks pretty cool. I think I like it. pop the hole, just like that. Chill it with the pencil, and chill it out. That is badass, thank you. Make sure that hole's not too big. Then I start to heat up around that hole. If it's too big, I'll put a lot of heat right onto the hole itself to shrink and smooch. Bowl. Nice and clean. Looks lovely, I think. I'm going to decorate it a little bit. Let's see what I can do here. Make it pretty. This is the next flag. Is it a flag? I guess it's a flag here. I'm gonna throw a big old star right here. Okay, fuck it. No star. Time for some tunes, huh? Yeah. Nobody can see my show if I play the radio. Isn't that funny? I'm gonna put a heart on it, feel the love. See it? Oh, it's a heart. Look at that. Feel the love. Feel it. Missing all my stuff. Alright, that's it. That's okay. That's hot. Don't touch the hot end. touch the hot end. I haven't done one of those in a while. That looks cool. Alright, take it. Put a crown on the end of it. Love King. King of Love. Feel it. Is the show boring without music, Randall? He's like, yeah, bro, it's boring. Boring. Oh. That's the bottom. Yeah, nice and flat. There's my spoon. I put a heart on the stem of this one and a crown on the bowl. I just take that glass lid up off the hole. finished handpipe, blue and yellow. Heart on the stem. It with a heart and a crown on the bowl. Thanks for watching, Nell. Thank you. Now I'm going to change some colors. Yeah, I really like the color on that one. I think the blue and yellow look lovely. Wow, yes. This color was cheap. It was only like $60 instead of $100. So let's see what we got for $60. I think we got time for one more. Again, we're coating the tube in color. That's what's going on. This looks like kind of a great color. I don't know if I'm getting excited about this one. I don't think so. Lunchtime. It's 12:37 here in Alaska. I don't know. I'm not really that hungry. I have 2 cups of coffee. But I am all out of coffee, so I gotta get more shit. Tell me I need nothing to do with this coffee. That's Okay. Kind of a sparkly greenish blue color. It's not bad. Thank you. There's my shape. You can see the color, it's kind of a bluish green, purple color. It's definitely pretty looking. And yeah, we're making spoons today. Y'all wonder what's going on over here. We're making some spoons. Because I don't have no spoons in my studio. I got like 10, that's it. whatever. I'm gonna flatten this. hours and 5 minutes on the YouTube, and we got 1 person watching over there, and we got 70 on the TikTok. What's up, TikTok? Thanks for tuning in. Being the only one. Haha, you are the only one, Randall. It's me, baby. Oh, now there's 2 people on YouTube. Oh, shit. We're getting famous. Watch out. Kentucky calling. What's up, Kentucky? Unknown callers go straight to voicemail. Leave a message. Flare open that hole just a little bit, and boom, we're done. There's the finished pipe. Thanks for tuning in. Look at that big old shield on the end, a bunch of marbles on the stem all the way up the bowl. Something extra, something different. That's the end of the show for a while. Thanks for tuning in today, folks. Hope to see you again soon. I'm Jeremiah. That's the Jeremiah Show. Have a wonderful day.